Hey everybody, welcome back to this Let's Play of Final Fantasy II for the PlayStation. I am Drak. Let's get to it, shall we? So, last time we had a lot of stuff happen. We confronted the Dark Knight only to have the Emperor of Palamecia resurrect from the depths of hell and say, nope, I'm not interested in just ruling anymore. I'm going to devour all souls. Okay. Well, why don't you just want to rule the world like all the other sickos? That's all I got to say. And we actually just barely landed at the Jade Passage, so that is our goal now. We have to enter into Pandaemonium to confront the Emperor. The way we do that is through the Jade Passage. And here is actually the start of the Jade Passage. So this is kind of the gate to hell, so to speak. And now we must make the long trek. And we have done some grinding since then. You'll notice that Leon is actually up to par with everybody else. And he's doing the damage that he should be doing. And people might also notice that I am going to be taking some of the higher spells and working on them solely in here, because I want to get them done as high as they can be so that I can bring that into the final battle. So that's going to be a big deal. But we are almost done. Unfortunately, from here, though, it's a long walk. It really is. Because we've got to go through the Jade Passage and then convert to Pandaemonium. And Pandaemonium, I literally connect these two in my head, because they are the same thing. You were going through the Jade Passage to go to Pandaemonium, Pandaemonium to take care of the Emperor. It's all the same thing. So this is why I consider this one of the longest dungeons in Final Fantasy, at least in the Roman numerals. And it can be a long slog. I'm not gonna lie. This is one of the final dungeons that I give a lot of crap to because of its length. The other one that I would give as an example of why I don't like it is Ultimecia's Castle in Final Fantasy VIII. That was also a really long dungeon that didn't have to be that long. And one of the main reasons that it is long is because you have to unlock commands and things like that. It's a pain in the butt, and we'll get there eventually. Yes, I will be playing 8. You know, it makes no sense to me to play this game when I don't really like it that much and then go and not play 8. I'll muscle through 8 too. While we are making our way, though, I was actually talking about some stuff last time that I wasn't able to finish. So, like I said before, I have finished Batman Arkham City. I loved it very much. I went into a little bit of the story details, and then I was going to explain the DLC and why I liked it, but let me go ahead and give kind of a quick recap. So the way that Arkham City ends is with the Joker's untimely death. Spoiler alert if you have not played it. But it's been a while, guys. It's been out for a while. So if you don't know this, I'm sorry. The Joker dies, and one of the best reactions that you actually get when they first walk out is Harley Quinn. Because she's got that weird story of being in love with the Joker and being kind of psychotic about it. And so that actually opens into a DLC pack called Harley Quinn's Revenge. One in which that you actually get to play a little bit of Robin. And I applauded the Robin gameplay, although it was kind of frustrating here and there, especially since a lot of the gadgets that Batman gets, Robin doesn't really get it. But he does get some useful tidbits here and there. But yeah, the story centers around Harley Quinn wanting to get revenge against Batman for, in her opinion, him killing the Joker. Even though the Joker is kind of the reason why he passed on. You know, it all leads into the events of the first game, where he injected himself with the Titan mixture, and that was killing him in Arkham City. And finally, at the end of it, he has the chance for a cure, and he botches it wholeheartedly. And so Harley doesn't know that part of it, and therefore holds Batman responsible for killing her love in that weird, twisted way. So we get to have some gameplay as Robin as well as Batman. And I actually do like the way that it ends because, first of all, I want to go into Harley because she looks really, really good. Obviously, it's the same actress who was playing her from the animated series. Well done here. I especially like Harley Quinn's Revenge, where her outfit, it's still got the black and red, but there's a little bit more black to it. And she's wearing this funeral veil in front of her face, and you can tell her makeup is runny, and the red elements of her makeup are kind of gone. It's all black, white and black. And it's really well done how the animators did that, where she's in mourning, but she's also very vengeful. The overall plot is she's just going to blow Batman sky high. I mean, it's a Joker plot. She's trying to take on the role of her lover and mentor, and she's doing what he would do in that case. But the part that's actually really sad through the whole thing is, when you're investigating, you just come across a bunch of buildings, and in corners there are little shrines to the Joker. And they are all just creepy because it just looks like, this is also indulging her delusion that the Joker was in love with her and things like that. And I've always seen it as kind of a 50-50 thing. I don't think the Joker loved her, but I don't think he hated her either. So I loved all those moments. And that DLC is good. I especially like the fact that, where Harley wants to end things where either she kills Batman or Batman kills her. And the way it ends is that Batman, he didn't want to kill the Joker. He would have helped him if the Joker had not been an idiot. But then at that point, we have Harley say, you need to finish this. You need to finish me. I need to be with the Joker. And he refuses to give her what she wants. And that's a really sad moment, given what people know of Harley Quinn. So I thought that was really well done. Is it the best DLC I've played? Sadly, no. Some of the other DLC packs that I have played have provided more for me than Harley Quinn's Revenge did. And I actually felt like some of the stealth elements that were required from Robin weren't well done. We had a lot of moments in Arkham City where if you picked out the main person, like the ringleader, and you took that one out, it ended the whole thing. In this one, they don't do that. It just takes out Harley, and then you've got to take out all of her lackeys. And I missed that whole aspect because it's almost like the developers gave kind of a big F you to that concept. They put Harley right where everybody can see her. Almost saying, there you go, you can end this, right? And then you get your butt handed to you by all of the lackeys. So, I will applaud and also, F you, Rocksteady. Because that was also just pain in the butt. But overall, Arkham City with Harley Quinn's Revenge, very good game, highly recommend it. The next game that I'm going to be taking on is not going to be Arkham Origins. I'm actually going to be taking on a game that people have wanted my opinion on for a while, and that is, if people remember in previous parts, I have mentioned that I was going through the Devil May Cry games. The reason I was because I wanted to have those fresh in my mind when I took on DMC Devil May Cry. The 5th installment, which is the most disputed because obviously it's kind of a reboot to the franchise, and to some it's a horrible reboot. We will see what I think of it when I get there. But that is going to be what's next on the agenda for me. Just like with God of War Ascension, I moved on to Infamous. Same thing here. I'm trying to cover as many games as I can, guys, and sometimes I cover new stuff, and sometimes I go back a little bit. But with that said, let's actually get into another game that people have asked me about. Because the Dragon Warrior fans just have to know, where are you at Dragon Warrior? Where are you? I haven't been able to get a whole lot done because I did, like in the last time I played it, I did a lot of backtracking. Mainly because in the previous time, I had gotten every key in the game. And so I was backtracking to all of the kingdoms and the towns that had gold doors or jail doors or doors to the dam. and unlock them. So that's where I'm at with it. I went off and got a bunch of chests unlocked in towns, and then I just barely ended in the town of Tomb, I think it's called, what it's called. And I found I can't remember his name, but the guy who was able to make a water robe for Nana, and I just barely handed him the stuff that he needed so I can move on from there. But from what I have read, I am pretty close to the end. Because I'm already getting like a bunch of Loto gear for my main character. And right now, again, guys, I'm liking it. I'm liking it enough that I will go on to Dragon Warrior 3. It's just, I need to finish this game. And I wish I had something more to say about it, but this really just kind of... Every time I play it, it kind of reinforces my viewpoint of, if you're starting out in RPGs before Pokemon, Dragon Warrior was the place to go. I mean, sure, if you were in the 16-bit era, you could have hit up Mystic Quest with Final Fantasy and gotten a basic understanding, if not, a little condescending. But Dragon Warrior, the first game, I remember it just felt like it was holding my hand the entire time, and I didn't have a problem with that. It was introducing me to the mechanics, and this one just kind of gradually ups the difficulty while still holding your hand. It still lets you understand what you're doing here, but at the same time it throws more elements to you. In this case, in the first game, you were alone. In the second game, you have a party. And so now you have to manage not just one person, but 3. And all of them have their strengths and weaknesses, and you have to make it work. So this is really to me, it's a really good series for people to learn how to play RPGs, and I applaud it. If anybody was trying to get into this before, say, Pokemon, where Pokemon does it as simple as this is another good one. But I wish I could say more about the story, but, I mean, the last little bit of story that I had that I enjoyed was Draco Lord's grandson says, I would try to kill you since you're right in front of me, but this Hargon guy, he's a problem for me, so I'm gonna help you. And then we'll settle our score after. Because I love that whole concept. That's always kind of the villain kind of thing to me. Like the dastardly thing to do. Because he's my hero, not yours. So I like that. Overall, like I said, I'm still liking it, and I will go into Dragon Warrior 3 as time goes on. But with that said, let's see. Another game that I've been getting into recently... Excuse me, guys. It's allergy season and all that. So, another game that I've been playing recently has been Final Fantasy 13-2. And I know I've been getting a little bit of criticism for the fact I don't go too much into what I think of it. I try, guys, but it's a time travel plot. And those are always hard to really describe. But, really quick, so we just barely got the Rune Axe. This is actually one of the best axes to get in the game, and it will go to Gus. But obviously, with all the chests in this area, we have boss fights. And the King Behemoth is no joke. So we are going to take him on and get the Rune Axe for Gus. And people might be noticing I'm starting to use Ultima a little bit more. I think with Therian I've used Holy a little bit more. Same thing here. It's just because I want to get those spells as high as I can for the final battle, which is the Emperor of Palanicia. Or I guess now he's the Emperor of Pandaemonium. Funny how things work out that way. So, but yeah, with 13-2, I'm getting a little bit more into the plot. I think last time I said I had just bet Snow. That was really cool to me. I want to see more characters introduced from the previous game. Especially since a lot of the scenes with Snow are talking about Vanille and Fang. So I was able to get past that moment and a little bit further to where I guess I'm past episode 3 in the game, and there are 6. So I'm just barely starting episode 4. What I have to say on the story so far is I really wish I knew more of what was going on. there isn't much explanation with Noel and who his character is. They try to show that he knows the villain in this game, Caius, and his little cohort, Yule. Or, I guess, Caius is protecting Yule. See, again, it's not really explained. So I like that aspect of it, but I want more explanation. Sarah is where I expected Sarah to be. You know, she's trying to be Sarah in this game. She's trying to help out Noel, but at the same time help out the timeline. The only thing that's weird about Sarah's storyline is that they're trying to make her out to be like this seer of time kind of thing, the seeress. Kind of like what Yule is to Caius. And that is weird to me. Because, you know, for one thing, I would think it would be a good thing. She knows what's going to happen in the timeline and therefore can stop it. But Noel tried to make it out to be like, no, it's not a good thing. Like, it's going to rip her mind apart. So, again, this would be... I'm not saying it's bad. It's just it would be better if I had more explanation as to how events are lining up right now. Overall, the combat, or the gameplay is the one part where I don't have a whole lot of complaints. It is Final Fantasy XIII with improvements to the engine. I like that, especially since, you know, this is the 2 party members plus a third being a monster character, and all of them are set their own roles, so you can actually say, okay, well, I don't want this kind of a role because I'm never going to put somebody in it. So I can just make my monster characters that and empower them. I'm trying to think of an example here. A good example would be, like, in 13, I never really used either the Synergist paradigm or the Saboteur paradigm. I used Synergist here and there, mainly because I always had Hope out, and Hope is a really good Synergist. But mainly I kept him as kind of a Ravager or as a Medic, because he was really good in those roles too. And, in fact, better. But the Saboteur, rarely used. I think the best Saboteur I had was Fang, and that wasn't saying much. So, that's where this kind of fails, is that it basically makes me sit there and go, okay, well, I don't want to have a character that's a Saboteur or a Synergist, so I basically put in a Medic monster, a Synergist monster, and a Ravager monster, so that I could have Noel kind of fit into the Commando and Sentinel role, and I could put Sarah into the Ravager and Medic role. Kind of like what Hope is, or Hope was for me. Which is weird, because I was always in the Lightning role whenever I got that, and now I can change. That's the other part that's weird. You got so used to the flaws of the combat system in 13, and then when they fixed them, you're like, oh, it's fixed. Cool. I completely forgot. So I've had a couple of times where Sarah died, and I'm like, oh, I'm done. Nope. It goes to Noel, and you're like, oh, wait. They fixed this. Yes! So I'll applaud them for that, especially since I can just, you know, revive Sarah, and then I can go back into that role, or if I really want to play Lightning again, because Noel has kind of become my Lightning. It's weird, because Lightning was kind of the ultimate commando as far as I was concerned in 13. In 13-2, I think that's Noel, really. And if I'm doing that wrong, theorists can theory crafters can let me know and all that. But this is how I've got it set up. I also do like the fact that with Noel, we are getting a little bit of a character arc where you kind of get the feeling that he is a futuristic Snow, except he has learned all the lessons Snow should have learned and never did. And that was an interesting thing to have Noel and Snow bounce off of each other, where Noel just didn't like him because he was doing all the things that Noel would never do. So that's an interesting concept. I'm liking the game thus far. I will go further with it. In fact, I may actually complete this because I do want to get like the best ending that is supposed to explain Lightning Returns and why that's part of the continuity now. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. I'm trying to think of some other games that I've played. That's been pretty much it. Unfortunately, like I said, I've been doing a lot of playing for, like, Drak and Shadow, getting things ready for summer, so I can't really discuss that. Plus working with Alex on trying to get his month going, and now he's actually revealed that it is a month of B-Train, because he is a big fan of B-Train, if you couldn't tell, and so he's very excited for that whole month of anime reviews of B-Train. And I recommend people wholeheartedly go see it, because you will get the passion that he brings to the table as an anime reviewer with B-Train. And it makes me excited for when he tries to take on, you know, because he's doing B-Train now, so at this point, the next thing for him could be Studio Khara, he could take on Studio Ghibli, or any of those others, and bring the same level of passion. And I recommend you guys go check it out over at youtube.com/shadowblazer3000. And then also, we're getting ready to do the E3 coverage, like I said before, with Geek News, Reviews, and Opinions. If you guys haven't listened to that, please do. It is basically my version of a geek podcast, where we go into the events of the week and just discuss the news, how it is, any games that we're playing currently that we're reviewing, or any opinions that we have on certain controversial subjects. So, for example, when the Zero Suit Samus and Sheik announcements came out, I went on with my opinion, or opinionical, however you want to say it, my opinion, or rather tirade, of the internet's kind of mistreatment of Samus, and how they didn't give anybody credit just because it was based off of Other M, and really that the internet needs to lay off of Other M. It's not that bad, guys. So I've been getting ready for that, and we actually just barely last night did our E3 expectations, and I'll actually just go ahead and go over them really quick. For the big three, I want to see game libraries, because we haven't really... Sony gave us a game library, but all of it was coming out the next year. So now I want to see like a full-on PS4 lineup. The same thing goes for... I want to see game libraries from Microsoft, and by game libraries, I mean not first-person shooters. I get it, Microsoft, you're the first-person shooter console, but if you want other people to pick up your stuff, Kinect was not the answer. So what are you going to do? You put Rare off the leash, are you going to have them making platformers? Are you going to let them do their own thing? I'm interested. Also, Nintendo, I want to see more third-party support, because we keep getting promised there's tons of third-party support, and I've yet to see it. We had a few games, but now, you know, Bayonetta 2 is not third-party anymore, since I guess Nintendo acquired Platinum. That means they're second-party. So at that point, not really a third-party deal anymore. Sega would be third-party, and we know that Sonic Boom is coming, but that's it, and I want to hear more. I want to hear stuff from Capcom, from Konami, on, like, Nintendo-specific games. That's really my expectations. And obviously, all the companies will have new games to unveil. I want to see the details on those. Specifically what Capcom's going to do, since their whole trying to do Resident Evil and Devil May Cry and only adaptations of that has not worked out for them that well. I want to see if they're just going to stay in that route. And if so, I'm going to be kind of disappointed. But... And it looks like we did get some new armor and weapons. So we're going to go ahead and give the Aegis Shield over to Firion. The Dragon Mail, I think we're ultimately going to give that to Maria, because she's pretty low. Dragon Mail, no, that's not really that much. So yeah, it's going to go to Maria, get her defense up. And then I forgot about the Holy Lance. So instead of the Defender, we're going to go ahead and give him the Holy Lance to get him up to 200 attack. Because we really... Leon, at this point, Leon kind of becomes the powerhouse with Gus, and we're very happy about that. But we're going to go ahead and take a break for this week. When we get back, we're going to finish up the Jade Passage and get into Pandaemonium. In the meantime, I am Drak.